The ocean has always been a place of beauty and danger, calm waves hiding sudden storms, and tides that can change lives in a single moment. In the middle of the 19th century, along the rocky coast of Newport, Rhode Island, lived a girl who would one day be called the bravest woman in America. Her name was Ida Lewis. She was not a soldier, she was not a queen, and she never sought fame. She was just a lighthouse keeper's daughter. Yet the sea would test her courage again and again, and each time, she proved that even one girl could stand between life and death for those lost in the waters. Ida was born in 1842, in a time when women were rarely spoken of as heroes. Her father was appointed keeper of the Lime Rock Lighthouse, a lonely post surrounded by restless waves. When Ida was only 12, her father became seriously ill, and the heavy responsibility of keeping the light burning fell on her young shoulders. She rowed supplies across rough waters, trimmed the lamps, polished the glass, and climbed the spiral stairs night after night. It was exhausting work for a child, but she did it without complaint, because she knew the light meant safety for sailors who might otherwise be swallowed by the ocean. That same year, the sea tested her resolve for the first time. A boat overturned in the harbor, and 4 men struggled for their lives in the icy water. Most girls would have screamed for help, frozen by fear, but Ida grabbed an oar, pushed her rowboat into the current, and pulled each man from the waves. She was just a girl, yet in that moment she was stronger than the storm. Word of her courage spread quietly, but Ida herself said little. She only cared that 4 lives were not lost. As the years passed, Ida became the soul of Lime Rock. Day after day, she kept watch on the restless sea. She was small in frame but mighty in determination. Time after time, when storms lashed the coast and boats capsized, she pushed her rowboat into the raging surf. She did not count the number of rescues at first, but the people of Newport did. By the time she was grown, she had pulled dozens of men, women, and children to safety. Her hands blistered from the oars, her clothes were often soaked through with freezing seawater, but she never once hesitated. Some said she was fearless, but the truth was deeper. She was not fearless, she simply loved life too much to let it slip away before her eyes. One of her most famous rescues came in March of 1869. A snowstorm raged over Newport Harbor, and the temperature dropped below freezing. 2 soldiers from Fort Adams tried to cross the water in a small boat, but the waves slammed against their vessel and overturned it. People on shore screamed, but no one dared to venture into the storm. The water was black, filled with chunks of ice. The men were moments from drowning when Ida leapt into her rowboat and began to row with every ounce of her strength. The wind whipped her face, the spray cut into her skin, but she pushed forward, reaching the soldiers just in time. She hauled them into her little craft, saving both lives while dozens on shore watched in awe. It was this act that finally brought her national recognition. Newspapers across the country began to print her story. They called her the bravest woman in America, the guardian angel of the harbor. For once, the whole nation looked at a woman and saw not just a daughter, not just a caretaker, but a true hero. She received the U.S. Gold Life-Saving Medal, the first woman ever to be honored in such a way. When she traveled through town, crowds cheered, and when she rowed her boat, children waved as if she were royalty. Yet Ida remained humble. To her, each rescue was not about glory, but about humanity. She would later say, "A woman's life is nothing unless she can do something for somebody else." By the end of her life, Ida had saved at least 18 documented lives, though locals whispered that the true number was closer to 25. Some were sailors, some were children, some were even her own friends, but to Ida it never mattered who they were. Each soul pulled from the water was precious. Each rescue reminded her that courage was not about strength or power, but about the willingness to act when others hesitated. Ida never married, never sought wealth, and never left Lime Rock for a grander life. She stayed by the lighthouse, watching over the waves, until her final days. In 1911, when she passed away, the people of Newport mourned her like they had lost a member of their own family. All the ships in the harbor lowered their flags to half-mast, and every bell tolled in her honor. Newspapers once again carried her name, not with the drama of a rescue this time, but with gratitude for a life that had shown what true heroism looks like. Even now, more than a century later, Americans remember her as a national treasure. The Coast Guard named a station after her, keeping her legacy alive. For those who walk by the shores of Rhode Island, her story lingers in the salty air, a reminder that even a girl with nothing but a rowboat and courage can make a nation proud. Her story is more than history. It is a lesson that greatness is not measured by fame, wealth, or power, but by compassion, bravery, and the willingness to act when others cannot. The ocean will always test humanity, but as long as we remember people like Ida Lewis, we know that courage can rise above the waves. And so, the girl of the lighthouse, who once rode through storms to save strangers, lives forever in American hearts as the girl who made the ocean itself bow to her bravery.